She was tossed from a runaway wagon. The cowboy caught her in his arms. The story begins on a scorching afternoon in the dusty plains of the Wild West, where the sound of rattling wheels and frightened horses broke the silence of the open trail. A wagon, its driver having lost control, thundered down a slope with terrifying speed, its wooden frame shaking violently as it raced toward disaster. Inside the wagon, a young woman clung desperately to the side, her bonnet whipping in the wind, her eyes wide with fear as she realized she was moments away from being thrown to the ground. She had set out on that journey, hoping for peace and a new start. But now her life hung in the balance, and with every jolt of the wagon, she felt the inevitable drawing nearer. Dust clouded the air, the horses screamed in panic, and finally, with a violent crack of the wheel, she was tossed into the open air like a rag doll, her body spinning helplessly toward the hard earth. But before pain could find her, strong arms caught her mid-fall, holding her steady, pulling her close with a strength that felt unbreakable. A cowboy riding hard at the wagon's side had seen her thrown, and with skill born of countless rides and a heart braver than most, he had leapt forward just in time to snatch her from death's grip. For a breathless moment, the world seemed to pause, the frightened horses, the crashing wagon, the woman trembling in his arms, and all that existed was the steady heartbeat of the man who had saved her. She looked up into his sun-browned face, framed by a wide-brimmed hat, his eyes steady and full of quiet courage, and for the first time since the nightmare began, she felt safe. His voice was calm, deep, reassuring as he whispered, "I've got you. You're safe now." And though her body still shook, she believed him. The wagon crashed in the distance, but the cowboy didn't flinch. His focus was only on her, making sure she was unhurt, making sure she knew she was no longer alone. He carried her gently from the chaos, his presence as solid as the earth itself. And though they were strangers, something powerful bound them in that instant. She asked his name, her voice trembling, and he simply said, "Call me Cole." Cole was a drifter, a man of few words but countless untold stories, a cowboy who had seen too much hardship but had never turned away from a soul in need. She told him her name was Clara, that she had lost nearly everything in the journey west. And as they sat together on the quiet side of the trail, she admitted how close she had come to giving up hope, before fate, or perhaps destiny, threw her into his arms. He chuckled softly, shaking his head, saying maybe life wasn't ready to let her go yet. Maybe life wanted to remind her that even in the hardest of trials, someone would be there to catch her. Their bond, though born of danger, deepened with every word, and by the time the sun began to sink in hues of gold and crimson, Clara no longer saw Cole as just the stranger who had saved her. She saw him as the protector she had long prayed for, a man whose rugged strength hid a tender soul, a man who risked himself without hesitation. She realized that in a world where many turned away, this cowboy had stepped forward, and that was worth more than any fortune. As they walked toward the horizon, Cole leading his horse, Clara leaning against him for strength, the dust settled and silence returned. But within that silence grew something powerful: trust, respect, and a spark of love. This story reminds us that sometimes, when life throws us into chaos, there is someone ready to catch us, someone who sees our worth even when we feel broken. And just like Clara found hope in the cowboy's arms, you too can find strength in believing that your story isn't over, that better days and braver hearts are waiting just ahead. If this tale moved you, if you believe in stories of courage, love, and second chances, then I invite you to join our family here. Hit that subscribe button, because together we'll keep exploring stories that inspire, that stir the heart, and that remind us that in the darkest moments, there is always someone or something ready to catch us. Stay with us for more powerful stories like this. And remember, you're never alone on this trail we call life.